Hey there, Goblin Army. This is the Goblin King. It's still the beginning of my work week, and it's already gotten spicy. Today, Vanity Fair released their first look at Amazon's self-styled Lord of the Rings, and all I have to say is...
You serious?
Right off the bat, let me give a shout out to Just Some Guy. That dude does some of the greatest commentary I've ever seen. His superb wit and biting sarcasm have left me in tears from laughing so hard. It's a Gundam is the same way, but his comedy is different. Just Some Guy is very dry in his humor, and it often takes a second for it to hit, but when it does, damn, he's a beast. Some of his greatest videos are, in fact, on the Lord of the Rings, which is why I bring him up. For real, this dude is a super fan and he knows his shit. The dude fucking speaks Sindarin, possibly Quenya. Honestly, not sure which it is, but he speaks an Elvish language. That's how deep into the lore this dude goes. Me? I'm a fucking tourist by comparison to him, and many others. So when this dude talks about the diversity push with Amazon's fanfic Lord of the Rings and how it actually breaks the lore, you can be sure he knows what the fuck he's talking about. He's coming at this issue from a place of deep knowledge and love, of the story and of the lore itself. Go watch his videos, they're fucking awesome. Oh, and not that it should actually matter, but the guy's black. I say that because I know that it does matter to a certain racist segment of the population that thinks the only important thing about a person or character is their skin color. People like those making Amazon's Lord of the Rings. Oh, and I misspoke earlier when I called Amazon's shit show a fanfic because they're obviously not fans of anything. What it really should be called is racist revisionist fiction. Another couple of things that I'll state right now is that I'm not a Lord of the Rings superfan. I've read the books and I've seen the movies, in that order. I read the books in high school a couple of years before the movies came out. I enjoyed the books for sure, though I could never make it through the Silmarillion. I read them once, they were damn fine books, but that's all I needed. I own the extended editions of all three movies. Damn fine movies. Faithfully adapted the lore and the stories as much as they could, and they were great for it. The other thing is that I'm a purist when it comes to film adaptations of any medium. I almost feel that I shouldn't say that in this day and age when people can and will sit there and twist what you say to have some sort of trash connotation that wasn't actually there. I'm also not going to let a bunch of garbage people dictate what I do and don't say. So, I'm a purist when it comes to film adaptations. I want as direct a translation as possible from the book, comic, game, whatever it is, to the film. So, when I see race swaps, gender swaps, sexuality swaps, it annoys the fuck out of me, and I'm like that with everything. If there's a canonically straight white male in the source material, keep the character that way in the adaptation. If there's a canonically black lesbian in the source material, keep the character that way. I'd be as pissed off about a race-swapped Falcon or Blade as I would be about a race-swapped Iron Man. Hell, that shit would be easy as fuck with Spawn, for instance. That dude's burnt to fuck, doesn't even have skin. You could stick a white guy under a bunch of makeup and call it a day. That being said, it'd be stupid, lazy, and disingenuous to the source material. Al Simmons is a black man. He should be a black man in any movie adaptation. I was just as pissed about Scarlett Johansson playing Major Kusanagi, a canonically Japanese character, as I was about Zhang Ziyi playing Chiyo in Memoirs of a Geisha. As good as Zhang Ziyi was in that role, it was still a race swap and still went against the source material. Both of these instances were bad. The former was egregious enough that I didn't even go see the movie. That's one of the stances I'm coming at this story from, being a lore and source material purist. So, Vanity Fair released their first look. It's mostly a sort of trite little puff piece, full of the struggles of the production during the coup, and how all the people running the thing are such massive fans of Tolkien, including that Lex Luthor wannabe, Jeff Bezos himself. In my opinion, the only thing that Bezos is a fan of is money and fucking over the little guy. The article states outright that every streaming service was looking to get their hands on the next Game of Thrones. But that with this, Amazon was the one that got in the highest bid when the Tolkien family was selling off the appendices. First off, they hired a couple of writers from Hollywood that have spent the last 13 years trying to get recognition. This show, in fact, is their very first credit on IMDb. That being said, that's not what really bothers me about these guys. If they had the passion of fans, they'd be able to make a good product regardless of what their credits look like. Nah. What really stuck in my craw was this shit. Supposedly ringing endorsements from the franchise killer himself, Jar Jar Abrams. When that motherfucker endorses someone, you need to run the opposite way. However, it's not long after this that the article goes on the offensive with their softball accusations from when the series started getting backlash due to its inclusion and diversity mandated casting. You have this nice quote from Lindsay Weber, an EP of the thing, where she states that they wanted Tolkien's world to reflect reality. The problem here is, sweetheart, that Tolkien's world reflected a very specific part of the world. He was trying to create a mythology for England, drawing inspiration from Nordic and Germanic and Celtic mythologies. Tell me, sweet cheeks, what kind of people are Germanic, Norse, and Celtic peoples? Hold on, I'll give you a hint. They come from parts of the world where the winters are long, and there's not as much need for melanin to protect your skin from the sun. Now, Tolkien did have some darker-skinned folks featured in his stories. Absolutely. He spoke about them in passing as they lived in different parts of Middle-earth. See, your biggest clue about the state of that world is that word, Earth. It was an alternate history, weaving in myth and folklore from various different European peoples to build the world. So the peoples of East Asia very much existed. The peoples of Africa very much existed, just in their own respective parts of the world. This was a tale set thousands of years ago when people didn't do a whole lot of traveling and intermixing. That kind of shit didn't really start happening until well into the second millennium of our age and the age of exploration. It's called that for a reason. You had your outliers, of course, your Vikings, the Silk Road, your empire builders, that kind of thing. But the kind of diasporas and migrations that you're talking about here didn't really happen until then. So it's completely unrealistic to the world you want to add reality to. Also, again, it's about staying true to the source material. The source material didn't have much in the way of darker-skinned peoples because Tolkien was focused on a very specific segment of the world's population. The English. As far as I know, he wasn't drawing on Greco-Roman mythology. He wasn't drawing on Eastern European or Russian mythology because he wasn't trying to build or rebuild their myths. And here's the soft slap I was talking about earlier, where this disingenuous asshole, a supposed Tolkien scholar, by the way, who should fucking know better, is just flabbergasted as to why fans might not take to the idea of shoving their identity politics into Tolkien's works where it doesn't fucking belong. Again, this is like the 5th time I've said this. It's about staying true to the source material. Once again. Sure, you get some backlash, I suppose, if you decided to throw a South run into some of the distant events of Middle-earth. However, if you made the character compelling and gave a decent, non-lore breaking reason for this person or people to be in that part of Middle-earth, people wouldn't necessarily have a problem with it whatsoever. It's this lazy-ass bullshit right here that's got people's goats. It's this black dwarf princess when, I'm gonna go ahead and guess that's her dad since he's the king, is fucking white. How the actual fuck does that even happen? How the fuck does international news elf Don Legolas even fucking happen? Then I saw this on Twitter because I wanted to see what JSG was saying. This chode sitting here trying to rationalize a black dwarf princess. First off, princess, none of the Dark Elves actually appear in any sources except Snorri Snorlason's Prose Edda. Even in that, there are 2 different varieties of them, which are the Svartalfar and the Dolkalfar. The Dolkalfar are the Black Elves. Again, that's the only place these things appear, and scholars are actually divided on whether either or both or neither actually describe dwarves. Also, as you can see, JSG dunks on the moron. The article ends itself talking about how the showrunners have such great respect for Tolkien and his works. Yeah, how much respect they have for Tolkien, the lore, the fans, very literally shows. These pictures say everything anyone ever needed to know about how much respect these fucknuggets have for Tolkien. Get bent. Then there was this fucking gem. Within an hour or 2 of Vanity Fair posting their article, these fucksticks over here at Slash Film had this thing ready to go. Would you look at that ratio? Damn, that's nice. By the way, I'm doing this at 6:37 p.m. This is literally hours after they posted the article, and it's only got 50 likes and over 300 replies. The kicker here is this. Look how many followers they have, and they could only muster up 50 likes for their race-baiting garbage. Oh, and no, I'm not reading this trash. This tweet tells me all I need to know, and I'm not giving these pieces of shit any of my traffic. So yeah, that's all I got for you on this one. Saw this trending and all and wanted to give my 2 cents on the topic. As always, check out the article and all that for yourselves. Form your own opinions. My opinions are mine. You're welcome to give your opinion in that handy section down below. While you're down there, join the Goblin Army by crushing those like and subscribe buttons. I appreciate your views and your attention. Thank you. I'll see you on the anime review. Blitz.